All right, recording. So Shalom, Shalom, Yasha Allah, Sha'at Kabash with WFI Detroit, coming with yet another mighty video for the WFI prospects and who's ever viewing this lesson. 2 weeks ago, I had prepared this lesson, but due to technical difficulties that have now been rectified, I'm able to get this lesson going for everyone. So I do want to say welcome all the prospects, all the brothers that are on here right now live, and everyone that's going to be viewing this here. Thank you brothers for y'all time to come out or to hop on, taking time out of you guys Sunday to take this lesson. And please take it seriously. I put a lot of time and effort into it. If you haven't seen my previous lesson about time management, you will know it's a certain way I like to do things. I like to have it very orderly, and I put these things together for you guys. All right. So I appreciate you all being on. So I did want to get started with a story. Like brothers may have heard this story before. If you heard it, don't answer. I'm going to ask a question at the end. So quick story. Back when I was in the world, many moons ago, I get rid of this thing. I worked for my uncle at an insurance agency. He owned an insurance agency. I was his first employee. I got the job because I got fired from a job my mom pulled me into, a plant job. I didn't pass the drug test. I tried to pull a monkey piss in that thing, and all hell broke loose. It didn't work. So my uncle hired me. He said, "Hey, just come with your shirt tucked in and your hair cut. You got a job Monday." So, and that was probably like that Thursday or some shit. So, I just went in, hired, whatever. He had me answering phones, doing more receptionist, if that's how you say it, type of work. So I'm answering calls, whatever. And one time, a lady, she had to make a payment on her policy, and he purposely had me on the phone with this lady. He told me to answer. He knew what she wanted. He said, "Call this lady, take this payment." He watched me the entire time. And I talked to her, and she kind of rushed me off the phone. Like, "Yeah, I'll just talk to Pears." That's my uncle's name. "I'll just talk to Pears." And she kind of like got off the phone with me. And my uncle, he asked me, he said, "Now, why you think she do that?" He said, "I took her payment. It wasn't a problem. Like, why you think she didn't take your payment?" And I said, "And I don't know. You know what I mean? They probably dealing with you more, whatever. They know you." He said, "No, it's because you suck on the phone." That's literally what he told me. And he ended up giving me a book. He gave me a book about like how to talk on the phone or whatever. And I just thought to myself, like, I know I can do this. So I just read the book and got better. You know what I mean? So I was able to take payments and stuff. Fast forward to the future, I got all my insurance licenses. I was running the office up to like 7 agents. His business grew, I grew with it. I was basically running his office. We had like 7 other people working. I'm coming up with systems, doing all kind of stuff, basically running the office. And it came from that, me not knowing how to talk on the phone, all the way to that. And I want to ask brothers, like, what catapulted me being able to go from not knowing this to having such a high position in the job prior to my departure? Like, what would brothers say?
You say your mindset switch after you read the book and you got more insight in it and learned that. And I mean, it focus, I locked in, focused, and dedicated towards the cause.
Okay, mindset shift with the book. Okay, anybody else got any other guesses they could say?
Yeah, I was thinking that with the king, man, you read the book, it taught you different ways, you know what I'm saying, to handle the business. You feel me?
Now, just so y'all know, the book was just a book on how to talk on the phone. So it didn't really touch on every other aspect of business. But what brothers is missing, it wasn't the book at all. It was a little detail I had in the story that you may have missed. I believed that I could do it. It was the
God, God.
thought that I could do something. It was the thought, like, I can get my insurance licenses. It's the thought that I can learn how to do this. It's the thought that comes first. And that's what I want to touch on. So, first precept we go get is Proverbs 4 and 23. Proverbs 4 and 23. Let me make this bigger. I can't really. It says, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. And then when you see the G and T, it tells you be careful how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts. So our lives are shaped by our thoughts. It's like your mind is, it's like a garden, right? Your mind is like a garden. So every thought is a seed. Right, I gotta mute whoever. Gotta mute somebody's stuff going. Right? So every thought is a seed. If you plant discipline, peace, faith, those grow. But if you let fear and bitterness grow, those weeds will take over everything. Right? And that's like a quote from this guy, Greg Gresham, if that's how you say it, Groeschel, right? He says, your life moves in the direction of your dominant thoughts. So I'm going to ask you guys, what's in your garden? What thoughts are you sowing daily? That's what brings us to our topic today. Our topic today is how to control your thoughts. The power of positive thinking. That's what today's lesson is. And I want to get my pocket rocket. It'll be easier than flipping through this. Here. Got some kind of Bible right here. So I'm going to actually read Job 12 and 11. So I'm going to kick this off with Job 12 and 11. So this is the book of Job, chapter 12, verse number 11. It says, doeth not the ears try words, and the mouth taste his meat. So the ears try words, and the mouth taste meat. So it's comparing your ears to your belly, so to speak. And that leads us to Sirach. I'm going to get Sirach. Just have to use this right here. So I'm going to get Sirach 37 and 27. Yes, Sirach 37 and 27. All right, let's get that. It says, this is what I want. It says, my son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not unto it. Be not unsatiable in every dainty thing, nor too greedy upon meats, for excess of meats brings sickness, and surfeiting will turn into colder. So essentially, the things that we eat, it affects our body. Just like the things that you put into your brain, it affects your thought process. It's like, why do you think looking at a married woman is adultery? Because it's the thought. That's why Christ literally said that. It's not literally adultery to look at a married woman, but that thought brews up and turns to reality. That's the power of that's the power of positive thinking. And a lot of Hebrews, they don't teach this kind of stuff. They don't put that in the forefront. They say, oh, we nothing, we dust and ashes. And they might just say, oh, we kings, but they don't really fully grasp the concept of positive thinking. There's science in the Bible that backs this up when it comes to positive thinking. All right. So, let's see what we got here. All right. So, affirmations. Affirmations is a key part to positive thinking. Affirmation is essentially just a positive statement that you say to yourself. It may sound corny, but it's biblical. All right, it's biblical and scientific. So I'm going to get Colossians chapter 3 and verse 2. Colossians chapter 3 and verse 2. So you bear with me here. All right. It says, set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. So setting your affection is basically setting our focus. So the Lord is telling us to set our mind, set our focus to things above. Why? Because it's not automatic. Thoughts aren't automatic. Thoughts can be manipulated. You can train your own thoughts. The Bible tells us this. I'm going to get Galatians chapter 3 and 1. You see that with Abraham as well. The thought always comes before the action. So if you're always thinking you can't do something, I'm a slothful Negro, and you're never speaking positive to yourself, then you will believe what you tell yourself. That's how powerful the brain is. And I'm actually get some science on that, but I want to get these precepts. So this is Galatians, one of my favorite chapters, because it's just beautifully written. But Galatians chapter 3, and I'm going to start from the top. It says, O foolish Galatians, who have bewitched you, that ye should not obey the truth, for whose eyes Yahweh Shah Mashiach have been evidently set forth crucified among you. So he's posing the question. Paul is posing the question to these Galatians because they feel as if their works is what justifies them. They forgot all about the faith. That's why Galatians is worded a certain way. Like it may sound like he's down in the law when you read Galatians 3, but the context is they think they're justified by their works. So we're saying, who tricked you? You know, we already taught y'all that Christ died for our sins, but now y'all saying it's the works? Who bewitched you? Who tricked y'all when Christ was evidently, it was clearly he was killed for our sins to give us grace. It says, verse 2, this only would I learn of you. This only thing I want to ask y'all. Receive ye the Spirit by the works of the law or by the hearing of faith? So did you receive the Spirit by the works or by the hearing of faith? Did you one day just put on fringes and then next thing you know, you start learning the truth? No, that's not how it went. You heard it. You set your focus on it. You start changing your mind and you started believing it and you started walking like it. It says, are ye so foolish, having began in the Spirit and are now made perfect by the flesh? You began with the Spirit by hearing it, but now all of a sudden you justify by your flesh. La'at. It says, have ye suffered so many things in vain, if it be yet in vain? He therefore that minister to you the Spirit and worketh miracles among you, doeth he by the works of the law or by the hearing of faith? Him that's ministering, him that's doing these great works, is he doing it by the faith or just by the works of the law? In verse 6, even as Abraham believed God, and it was counted to him for righteousness. So Abraham believed. That's what Abraham did. And the Hebrew word for believe, right? I'm gonna actually just pull it up. Let's pull it up real quick. I want to pull it up real quick. Hebrew word for believe. Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up here. Let's pull up that website. The blue letter. Oh, it went on this side of the screen. Let's go. I think it's H1. What was that? Got it right here in the notes. I can't see it. What's that? H4 4100. That's not it. I want to get the Hebrew or the Greek for believe. Believe that's what it was. The Hebrew or the Greek. H4. Maybe G. Let's see. H4100. Yeah, so it's the Greek. The Greek for believed.
Strong's G 4100. Pistuo.
Pistool. Right? Pistool is to think, to be true, to be persuaded of, to credit, place confidence in. So that's what it means to believe, just to think something to be true. It starts with, again, that belief that something is true. That's simply what I'm trying to bring out. It's just that thought that something is true. It's the thing that would make it true to Abraham. He just simply believed that what God said was true. And that's why the thoughts is so important. And let me get that too.
Like that's the blue letter for what word?
Believed.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, G is G. Got H here, but it's G41004100. All right, and one thing about thoughts, thoughts is what makes our identity. That's why, like when we touched on the habits before in the time management lesson, those habits are actually your belief system. So when you move in the habits of being a slothful man, because that's who you truly are, and you might be reaffirming that by saying certain things to yourself. I'm gonna get this in Romans chapter 12. Classic precept we always pull, Romans 12:2, by renewing our mind. It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed. So the Most High is saying, transform yourself. By what? By the renewing of your mind. So changing your mindset, changing your thoughts is how you transform yourself. Rewiring the way that you think. That's how important it is when you're dealing with positive thinking. Our brothers keep it. The brothers got any questions on anything we bringing out? The brothers understand that? Yappa. So we're gonna continue here. All right, so why affirmations work? Why do affirmations work from a scientific level here? So number one, they rewire the brain. So your brain, and this is an actual concept in science, is your brain doesn't always know the difference between imagination and reality, believe it or not. So repeating affirmations, it activates something called the reticular activating system, or they call it RAS, RAS, and that basically it's a filter that tells your brain what to focus on. So the more often a thought is repeated, that's the stronger that neural pathway becomes, and that's what we get. Like, let me get what's that? Josiah or Joshua. So like, I'm gonna get Joshua chapter 1 and 8. Check this out. It says, "This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then shalt thou make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success." Whenever the Bible is speaking on becoming a new man, it's always talking about setting your focus, rewiring your brain, meditate on something, because the Lord created these scientific concepts and the chemicals that go off in our brain. The Lord knows your brain don't know the difference between imagination and reality. So if you're focused on something day and night, that RAS will happen, and it'll tell your brain what to focus on. And subconsciously, you'll do things. You subconsciously pray before your food. You don't have to think about that because your brain is focused on it. So the subconscious habits start to prove your brain right. And that's the power that, like, you got to really understand. I'm going to say that statement again so you understand the power. Affirmations rewire your brain. It doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. That's a powerful statement. Meaning you can tell your brain anything repeatedly and you will change your mindset. There's no way around it. It will happen no matter what. Like, it's no way that can stop it. You can tell yourself anything. And the thing with the lessons I like to give, I call it the practicality of the precepts. This isn't so you can go and memorize 1,000 verses. This is so you can go get that job you want, start that business, be a mighty man of the Lord, go lose some weight. This is for every aspect of your life. Affirmations matter because they rewire your thought process. the power in being able to tell yourself something and it can happen for you, that's extremely powerful. Do you think Master P said, I can't do it, I don't know? Or did he tell himself every day some delusional stuff? Do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And he told himself that every single day. And now he's a rich man. So you can do anything you set your mind to, quite literally. Right? So let's get another one here. They reduce stress and defensiveness too. When like if you like affirm your core values and fight against criticism and negative feedback, that's where you get Matthew 17 and 20. Right, I'm gonna actually read it. Matthew 17 and 20. Check this out. This book in Matthew chapter 17 and 20, it says, and Yahweh shall send unto them because of your unbelief. For verily I say unto you, if ye have the faith as a grain of a mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence. So I can remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. If you have that affirmation, if you affirm in your core values, nobody can tell you anything negative about what you believe you can accomplish. And that's with anything in life. Brother, start that food truck, brother. Right, brother, go back to school. Whatever it is you gotta do it. Right, because we don't know what we have left here in this life. So you better set yourself up properly. And again, these affirmations can fit anything in your life. Rather you want to change a healthy habit, fight against an evil spirit, whatever. All you got to do is constantly tell yourself this, right? And then the next thing that why affirmations work is they strengthen identity. Like Abraham believed, and he became a friend of God. Just because he believed, he ended up following those things because he believed so much. Okay, and I want to get this precept because the Bible speaks directly to this in Proverbs. Go back to Proverbs real quick. Proverbs 23, verse 7. The book of Proverbs, chapter 23, verse number 7, it says, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. As you think, that's what you are. So your thoughts, again, strengthen that identity of who you truly are. There's nothing wrong with looking in the mirror and saying, I'm a mighty man of the Lord every single day. There's nothing wrong with that. And again, these things may sound taboo or corny, but the most successful athletes, actors, businessmen, they understand and utilize affirmations and tell themselves what to think. Because intrusive thoughts happen all throughout our day. But if you constantly affirm in your core values, it deflects and defeats those intrusive thoughts coming in. So you can believe something so much that it happens for you. It says, eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. All right, the next reason they help, what does that say? Yeah, it says they help combat negative self-talk, which again is, like I said, those intrusive thoughts of you can't do something. And you got to think, most people have an inner critic. It's shaped by fear to fail. It's shaped by trauma that we don't address ever because therapy is Esau knowledge. You got affirmations, they interrupt that loop by introducing a new internal voice. So with that affirmation, like I was saying, you got that new internal voice telling you what to think. So when those intrusive and negative thoughts of failure come in, you say, get out of here. I'm a mighty man of the Lord. I don't watch porn. You know what I mean? You actually tell yourself that every day. I'm a mighty man of the Lord. I don't watch porn. You physically say that to yourself. Whatever you're dealing with, you can do it and combat those spirits by literally renewing your mind. The practical way to rewire your brain. You can read that precept all day, but how do you actually take renewing your brain and put it into action? This is how, using affirmations, using tactics that are proven to shape your identity and shape your core values. I'm gonna get Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21. It's the mighty book of Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21. And it reads thus: Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So life and death is in the power of the tongue. Rather it's literally being said or if it's being said within your mind. So that negative thought, you can defeat that with a positive thought. Literally thinking positive and saying positive things to reaffirm it. I'm gonna get Philippians chapter 4 and verse 8 to go along with that as well. It's Philippians chapter 4 and verse 8. It says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, guess what Paul said? Think on these things. Here we go with the brain and thinking and meditating again. Paul gave that wise counsel. Anything that's good, pure, lovely, even though you're in the midst of all this madness, the negativity, think on those good things. Why is he telling them to think on that? Same reason why he said renew your mind. Because he understands. The same reason he said in Colossians, set your focus. Because those thoughts are not automatic. You control your own thoughts. Okay? Let's get one more reason. Because they actually improve your performance. When you read Romans, the 4th chapter, it actually tells you that about Abraham's faith. I'm not going to get the entire thing here. Just jump to it. So when you read Romans 4, Paul is giving a lesson about the faith of Abraham. So I'm going to read verse 9. I'm starting at 19. It says, Romans 4 and 19, it says, and being not weak in faith. And again, faith is just belief in something. It's just being persuaded that something is true. That's all faith is. It's to think on something. It's to believe something is true. So it all goes into your thought process. So again, he had that faith. He thought on, he had that way of thinking. It says he considered not his own body now dead. He didn't even consider that he was an old man because he believed so much what God told him. It says when he was 100 years old, neither yet the deadness of Sarah's womb. He staggered not at the promise of God through unbelief, but strong in faith, giving glory to God and being fully persuaded that he had promised, he was able to perform. So again, affirmations, they rewire your brain, they reduce stress and defensiveness, they strengthen your identity, they help you negate negative thoughts, and they improve performance. It just broke it down in the scripture. It said he wasn't weak in faith. He believed that promise so much that he was able to perform that promise because he believed it. It started with Abraham believing in it. It goes back to the story I gave. I was able to perform that work because I believed I could do it. Now, if I just said, I'm just a nigga, man, I be smoking too much weed to damn be able to talk on the phone, man. This is how I talk. Who knows where I would have ended up? But I said, no, man, I can do this, man. This ain't nothing, man. Just read this book and I can learn how to, let's see. And it turns to me running an office full of 7 people. Just from that one belief. Because I seen that and I'm like, oh, damn, I can do this. He said, get your licenses. I'll pay you this much money. Went and got my licenses. Hey, turn this system that's 30 minutes, make this shorter. I made it 5 minutes. Do this, do that. And just believing you can do something is extremely powerful. Did you think Michael Jordan or LeBron James doubted themselves? And if they did, they had so many affirmations that they interrupted those negative thoughts because they're going to come in. But that's why you have to set your focus on the things that you want. Set your focus on the things above. Renew your mind. And you'll be able to perform things better. Does that make sense to brothers?
Come.
All praises, all praises. So we're gonna move on to the next one. Right? The next one is say it, see it, live it. So we're gonna talk about how to actually put affirmations into practice. a process that I call declaration to demonstration, right? So you have to start, number one, with identity-based statements, not just outcome-based statements, but identity-based statements, which is basically you got to be intentional with the I am. So you can say, when I say outcome-based is this. Outcome-based is I will read 30 chapters or something to that effect. But when you embrace I am and be intentional with it, that's identity based. This is actually in my schedule. I say I am disciplined. I wake up at 5 in the morning because I control my day. My day don't control me. That's literally in my schedule. That's identity based. I am a man of God. I start my day with prayer. I am um, conscious of my health, so I go to the gym. You know what I mean? So those identity based statements is embracing that I am. So you actually want to write out I am statements. I am this. I am that, and you want to. Well, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going through it because again, it works because identity leads to behavior, and that's called identity congruent, where we naturally live out who we believe we are. We actually live out who we believe we are. Right, so we got more in this. Let's see. You can align it with scriptures, obviously. And we get some precepts in a moment here. You want to speak them out loudly. So I am statements, link it with scriptures, and speak it out loud daily. You actually say these things out loud to yourself. I am a God-fearing man. I don't do this. Or I am a disciplined man. I read 3 chapters. I am this. You actually say it to yourself, and you're going to start acting those things out. That's why it's called say it, see it, live it. Fourth, you got to visualize while you speak. So close your eyes, say, I am this, and you actually visualize it. I am a successful entrepreneur. And I picture myself in a nice Benz hopping out in a suit. You know what I mean? I am this, and you actually visualize that. You visualize yourself in the kingdom. I am like Abraham, whatever. You know what I mean? Brothers understand that. So you got to see it, say it, see it, live it. And then the fifth one is write them down and review regularly. So actually write these things down, align them with scriptures, say them out loud, visualize it while you're saying it. And I got this precept in Romans chapter 10. Classic precept. It's a lot of precepts we might read, and it's like, how do you really apply that? And these is how you apply these thought process changing type scriptures. So this is Romans chapter 10 and 17. It says, so then faith cometh by hearing, and by hearing the word of God. So that faith, that belief, that thought process, it comes by hearing. Right? So you have to say these things out loud because you're going to hear it and you're going to shift and change to that man that you're seeing you are. Because you don't want to lie to your damn self. You don't want to say, I am disciplined. I wake up at 5 in the morning. You're saying that every single day, and then you're not getting up on time. Now you just lying to your damn self. You want to actually say this stuff and visualize and see it. I am a fit person. I go to the gym these days. So now you're not doing it and you're eating unhealthy. You tell yourself that every day, you're going to be lying to yourself. But guess what? When you actually say it constantly out loud and you visualizing it, you're going to rewire your brain to the point to where you're going to do it. Right? And then again, like I said, don't just say it. You want to see it with your mind. That's Hebrews 11:1, where it says faith is the substance of things hoped for. So you got to visualize things. I'm going to get 2 Corinthians 10 and 5. All right, 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 5. And it reads, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. So that's a way of correcting your thoughts. Uh, the Bible tells us that we can do this. You can bring the negative or the positive thoughts into captivity. You know what I mean? Bring those thoughts to the forefront. And you do that by, like it's saying, hearing. That faith, that belief, that thought, it comes from hearing. So you have to write it down, actually visualize it, and say it every single day. And this fits every aspect of your life. You can do it, brothers. We kings and gods on the earth. We can literally do it. Anything we want to do, man. If we set our mind to it. Right, that makes sense to brothers before I go on to the next slide.
God. Hey, can you read anyway all the titles about the end so I can write them down? Because I wasn't writing them down at the beginning.
You said the titles, you're talking about like say it, see it, live it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's actually the next couple of slides. We're going to touch on them individually. So, first, say it. First is say it, right? Your words, they plant seeds in your mind, right? Your words plant seeds in your mind. So, the more you speak to yourself, the more your heart and habits begin to align. So, it's like you're training your brain to hear faith. That's what saying it does. When you actually say it, you're planting those seeds. Like we spoke about the garden earlier. What seeds are you planting daily? Are you planting seeds of positivity? Or are you telling yourself you're just a nigga in the mirror? We in captivity. We in captivity. I can't accomplish great things. We in captivity. Like you gotta plant the righteous seeds. I'm an Israel. I can do whatever, man. You mean to tell me these Edomite, these guys, they can own property and do all this, and me, an Israelite, God chosen people, I just gotta sit on my ass and just have a foot on my neck? Hell no. Hell no. Right? You gotta change that whole mindset. And a lot of people come in the truth, and that's what's promoted and pushed, but it's not righteous. That's just not a righteous way to live. I want to own a farm, and farms cost money. You understand? So we have to say it. And I know I'm going to get it because I believe that. That's what I say. Right? So the next slide here, right, is seeing it. You have to close your eyes and picture yourself, right, living what you declare. Like visualizations activate your brain's focus, that RAS we spoke about. When you visualize it, it opens up the idea of you doing it, and it helps your body move in that direction of your beliefs. So when you say something and then you actually visualize it, you start subconsciously moving toward that. You're going to start doing a goal, like doing the things to strengthen that part of your identity. And then the final part, again, is a live it. So that's when your actions align with your affirmations. Simply put, your actions are going to start to align with the affirmations you say. You can't say for 3 months straight, I am disciplined, I do this, and you're just not doing it. Your actions are going to start aligning because you heard the faith came by you hearing it. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it is. See it, say it, live it. Those are the three things there. And that's how you put affirmations into like that's how you actually do affirmations. And then there's a quote by Dr. Caroline Leaf. It says your brain listens to everything you tell yourself, even if it's not true. That's a quote inspired by this lady here. So it literally believes everything you say, even if it's not true. So if you're saying negative things, your brain believes it, and you're going to move in that direction. If you're saying positive things, your brain believes it, and it starts to move in that direction. I like somebody put that in a group chat. They said our brain is like a supercomputer. All it needs is a program. It just has to be programmed, and that's precisely what affirmations do. Okay, and that's essentially what I wanted to bring out to brothers. So I got a bonus slide here, or I'm not sure what just happened there.
What was that last precept in 2 Corinthians
Now you put
2 Corinthians 10 and 5. Oh, here it goes. I was working. All right. Yeah. Cool. All right. So we got the bonus. The bonus is I call it master the mind game. Let me make this bigger because I can't really see this. Still can't see it. Cool. All right. So it says master the mind game. It's 4 tools backed by psychologists that actually work. So number one, and I'm shocked I don't have the notes here, but it's cognitive restructuring. Number two, something called thought labeling. And I don't have the notes for it here, but I know thought labeling is more so like when you have thoughts that come into your head, you actually can label those thoughts and refute them. I'm gonna find this in my notes here because I thought I put it in my little notes for the slideshow, but they're not there. So let me pull it up here. I really want to dive a little bit more into them. Okay, yeah, this is it. Thought labeling. Okay, so cognitive restructuring is basically challenging and replacing irrational or negative thoughts with realistic ones. You may have a negative thought like I'm terrible at everything, but restructuring is I've made mistakes, but I've succeeded in many things too, right? And that's the restructure. So you might have a super negative thought that's not even realistic, and you can combat that because you might say, I suck, I just fail at everything. But you tell yourself, I've failed at some shit and I've done some shit good, right? So that's how you restruct that. And sometimes you gotta, because those are those intrusive thoughts, right? You might actually feel that way. I can't do this, man. I ain't grow up with no father, man. I suck at being a dad. Or then you can think like, no, I'm tripping, nah, man. Like I'm human, Sometimes I might do things wrong, but I did a lot of good stuff too. I mean, that kind of helps combat those negative thoughts. Number two is thought labeling, which is when negative thoughts show up, you just label it instead of believing it. Like you can just say that's just anxiety talking. And a lot of that comes with emotional intelligence. That's why I tell brothers to seek out therapy. You might not have been molested when you was 3, or gotta be something crazy, but being able to communicate and learn where things come from and being able to have that emotional intelligence to label certain things will help in the long run. So if something happens, like I'm tripping, that's just because I'm anxious and that's just my mind is just messing with me. So you just label that thought versus believing it. Because some thoughts may come in and you just believe it, and now you moving like that thought. Like we just said, you rewiring your brain. So your thoughts make you move. The thought always comes first. Biblically speaking, scientifically speaking, that's just how the human body works. So the next one is a mindfulness training, which is becoming present and observing your thoughts without judgment. So it tells you the exercise is to sit for 5 minutes, breathe, and simply observe thoughts as they pass. Don't argue or chase them, just watch. Why it works? It said it builds thought awareness, which is the first step in controlling them. So sometimes you can do mindfulness training, a lot going on, you got some thoughts. You just set a 5 minute timer and just sit and just let the thoughts go. Don't chase them, don't believe them, just listen to them and just let your thoughts go through. Let your thoughts fester in your head and just sit with them for 5 minutes. That's actually a good one as well. Uh, and thought labeling, it says why it works. I forgot to read that part. It says why it works. It says separate your identity from the thought. Key in therapy and scripture. It actually put a precept, Romans 7:17. Okay, so the next is gratitude journaling. Journaling is very mighty when you journal, when you write. It's you can sum up your day and write things you want to do for the next day. Journaling. That's something I try my best to include within my routine or my ritual, whatever. But it that's something I just gotta get better at, pretty much. But what it is, you can write 3 to 5 things you're grateful for daily. Why it works, it shifts your mental focus from negativity to abundance. That's the difference. That's why gratitude journaling works. I don't do gratitude journaling, but I do more so what did I write? It's a few things that I write out, like highlights of the day or something like that. I don't have it top of mind, but that's actually the lesson, brothers. Nice, simple and sweet, straight to the point. I want brothers to embrace positive thinking. I want brothers to embrace the idea that you can rewire your brain and change your thought process. Something that, again, like I said, it's not popularized, it's not put out there. You might have never heard a lesson vaguely close to this, but it's important because due to the curses, we've been smitten with madness. A lot of our people, we don't know how to deal with trauma, and we have a lot of negative thoughts due to how we've been raised. So it's imperative that we learn how to combat those negative thoughts, rewire our brains, and understand that anything is achievable. As long as you got breath, two legs, two hands, anything is achievable in this walk in life. And don't let your favorite teacher, your camp leader, any man, woman, or child deter you as a man setting goals, carnal goals to accomplish for yourself, because you can and you will accomplish them if you just got the right mindset. So all praise to the Most High, man. I appreciate y'all brothers hopping on this thing. But I like to open up the floor to questions, comments, concerns. So brothers can go ahead and express how they feel about the lesson, what they learned, or any questions you may have.
So I was gonna ask real quick. You can, whenever you get a chance, you can send me the slides so I can have it in the notes when I send it in the chat.
Yeah, I got you.
I got a couple things. Is you gonna put this lesson on the Cold Cuts channel so I can watch it again with my wife? Because I want her to see this lesson as well. It's beautiful. Want to say that like you, well, you do your thing. Watch rates well put together like always. You know what I mean? And the titles I got is say it, see it, live it, and master your mind. It would say master the mind game. And you said write down. I don't know what you said, but it said write down and what?
Okay, so say it, see it, live it. It's this slide right here. Let's pull it up. Oh, yeah. I closed the damn slideshow, so it's not showing right now. Let me see. Let me change it. Let me edit it for you. All right. Let me see. Okay, yeah, this that is the slideshow, I believe. Okay. Oh, it's looks crazy right now. Not sure why it looks so crazy, but got it to work already, so doesn't matter. All right, so I'm gonna just go back to here. So, say it, see it, live it, which is gonna be in the notes. Let me pull it up for myself though, so I can. It basically it gives you the 5 ways. Just letting it load. Give you the 5 ways to accomplish it. So you got to be intentional with the I am. Basically, use I am statements. Those are identity based statements, like I am disciplined, I am this, I am that, versus saying I will do this, I will do that. You align it with scripture. You speak them out loud daily. You visualize it while you're speaking it. Make sure you write them down and you repeating the process. It's a daily process. You write out I am statements, align them with scriptures, you speak them out loud, you visualize them, and make sure they're written out. That's pretty much how you would do it. And the name of the actual lesson itself is how to control your thoughts, the power of positive thinking. That's what the lesson actually is. I don't know why this wasn't working. It looked all crazy. Kind of wondering why I did that. That is pretty odd to me. Don't know why it's doing that. But Kanye, anybody got anything they want to bring up?
it was just it was a good lesson to help brothers, like you said, not just with like remember precepts, just dealing with stuff every day in life. As far as your weight. I know that's the example for me. Like I be wanting to lose weight, and then I just sit around sometimes like I'm fat as heck, or I'm fat. I'm this. That. My girl be like, man, you got to stop saying that. So like when you were saying, start speaking positivity into existence, I'm like, yeah, that's something that a brother got to do because if you really want to do something, you're gonna keep telling yourself like I'm gonna do it. Eventually, it will happen. So I like how you brought that out and uh, organized that for us today.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to, I just really love brothers, want to see them do better. And I know affirmations and positive thinking isn't something that's touched on in general within just Israelite culture, like black culture, Israelite culture. That's just not something we do as a people in general. We don't touch on those things, but they're very important, man. Those affirmations. Like I say it could seem corny, but you can't say that till you give me 30 days where you're actually doing this. Tell me your mindset don't change. Tell me it doesn't help your day to day living. The Bible tells us to renew our mind. It tells us to think on positive things. It tells us to set our affection, which is our focus, our thoughts on things above. The Bible tells us to meditate on things. It understands repetition, saying things to believe them. The Bible understands that because God created our brain. He knows how it works. That's how it works. So brothers got to take this stuff seriously. It's a whole lot of brothers on this call. Man, yeah. Yeah, I wish it was this many for the time management lesson, man. Mighty. But yeah, Con, any questions or comments anybody want to bring out? Because I do like to put these lessons together and get some kind of feedback from brothers. Like if it was mighty, if you learned something, just so I know I'm going in the right direction and I can improve further. So I would like to brothers to speak to it.
My lesson, Jay.
Like it was to
It
me, brothers.
definitely like helped like confirm something, bro. Cause like I literally got my journal, and I be writing down like things I need. How am I gonna get my vending machine business up? Help motivate me. Like what are the steps I'm using to like get there and like helping myself to stay motivated in that, bro.
Okay, kind of mighty. Vending machine business. Yeah, gotta hit YouTube, Chat GPT, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Tell you everything you need to know. I think Jeremiah was saying mighty lesson because y'all was kind of talking at the same time. So appreciate that, King. Appreciate that.
John, I was just saying, bro, it's a great lesson. Just reaffirms, brothers being confident and moving forward in any endeavor that we.
Kind of any endeavor, any endeavor. Yep. So glad to know I'm still heading in the right direction, man. Just glad to know I'm still heading in the right direction. Anybody else got any thing they want to bring out?
I just want to say the water, man, because I'm actually on the process. I'm in the process of looking for a job, an intern, because I just finished school. The information that you shared today is extremely helpful for me, and also I'm gonna have my wife take a look at the video as well because she's going through a little bit of a postpartum situation. So on the positive mindset that you teach and how to utilize it is gonna help her as well. So the water.
Kind of, man. That's Yapa. Love being able to help brothers, man. Having me smile ear to ear every time. Cause I really put my thought into this stuff, so I'm glad to hear the positive feedback. Yeah, I love hearing it, man. I think somebody was gonna say something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I just love how you tie like real life to the Bible. You know what I mean? Like you always like give like a life lesson. It's more than like a Bible lesson. It's like a life lesson, man. And you like real cold at it, man. You should do this a lot more often, King.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. I plan on it, man. I plan on it. I plan on it, man. I just had to get a bit more time on my hands, which I have now, due to like I said, just being on my journey with my own business. Brothers don't know I have an accounting business. I do accounting and financial advisory, and I was able to actually hire my first employee, like some overseas kind of hiring stuff. Got me an Elam, you know what I mean? They cheap over there, so kind of got Elam on board, and seeing where that takes me. So I'm gonna have more time on my hands because as the business grows, it's like I got a 9 to 5 job and I'm juggling this. It's like what the hell? So I was able to just say, you know what, I'm gonna just take that leap, hire somebody, cut into my income, and just make it happen. You know, but again, those affirmations. I know I'm gonna get more clients. I know I'm gonna grow. You know, all that kind of stuff. So it's beautiful. So yeah, plan on. I got some stuff planned for the nation because I know the nation needs this kind of stuff, man. Stuff that's not talked about so much. Stuff that's not talked about so much.
It was mighty, King.
Appreciate that, man.
I just wanted to say, it was a mighty lesson, Kabash. Again, just piggybacking off what brothers are saying, man, and moving forward, I feel like this is great for Israel. With the reconstructing our minds for like intrusive and negative thoughts, and reinforce them with the positive affirmations, positive thoughts. Aligning with scriptures. All together, just reconstructing our minds. But repeating, like I never really did that, but now I'm gonna start. To try to not think about. I'm gonna do it, like the affirmations, speak out loud, all of that, because it's something different. You're just bringing something different to the table, Israel. I'm sure it's never heard before, so I'm sure that helps brothers a lot with this lesson.
Kind. Jake be depressed out here when again you control your own thoughts, so you have to combat those thoughts with just again positive affirmations. Like the brother was saying, like it's his own rib was telling him, like, don't say that about yourself. You don't want to say that because you say I'm just fat, blah blah blah. You go move like a fat person versus man, I know I'm gonna get in shape. I'm gonna do this. You gonna start moving like that instead. So it's simple, man. Simple mindset shift. It's a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it's one word difference between a mindset. One dad said, "I can't get rich. I got 4 kids." The other one said, "I have to get rich. I got 4 kids." One word, whole different mindset. I have to get rich. I got 4 kids. I can't get rich. I got 4 kids. Two different mindsets. One word. You know what I mean? It just make that much of a difference through the spirit. A lot of brothers on this call. All praises, man. Brothers, was the lesson cool with brothers? Brothers good. Brothers ain't got no questions. Anybody who hasn't spoke, I don't want to put brothers on Front Street or nothing, but
King. I was like I was kind of late, but man, I don't want to be there. Horse brother hit it on nail, man. The duality between like what you were bringing out in real life situations and the scriptures, like it really hit home with brothers. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate your time too, King.
Yappa. Well, I guess brothers pretty much got the same sentiment. Yeah, you got it, Kane. Brother,
That was a mighty lesson. He broke it down pretty plainly here. You know what I'm saying? It helped brothers out a lot, so for sure.
Beautiful, man. So yeah, this will be on the Cold Cuts channel. As soon as it can upload. So brothers, check that out. Make sure y'all let brothers know to check it out. If you enjoyed the lesson, man. Every time I come on, I am gonna try to my best to give the best lesson I can. And try to focus on the practicality more so brothers can have some life lessons they can go with. Some kind of actionable thing. Like I know the time management, we have some actionable things. We have some actionable things here. So now you got something you can go and actually try, like some I am statements and have a go at it. You know what I mean? You see what you can accomplish, man, because you can do anything. literally, you know. And I believe in each and every one of y'all brothers that y'all can do anything you put your mind to. And whoever's watching, you can do it. You can do it. You will do it if you put your mind to it. All praise to the Most High.
So like again,
Yeah.
I wanted to get with you on some of them communication books too, brother.
If you got me on, well, I mean, I could put my number in the group chat.
I think I got you on WhatsApp. Maybe I can reach out on there and get with you on that if that's cool with you.
Yeah, if you got me on WhatsApp, then that's cool. I mean, I was gonna put my phone number in the group chat. But yeah, if you got WhatsApp, you can just hit me on WhatsApp, and then I'll just send them out to you.
All right, I'll break it.
Yeah, send some of those to you, man. Yeah.
Fuck it. Shalom. I just want to say that was some mighty exhortation and that big mighty examples that you gave relating to real life and scriptures to make it useful and practical.
Yes,
So
sir.
hard for that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Always think, how can you apply this to your life when it comes to the scriptures? Literally, always think how you can apply it to your life. Always think that, man. But yeah, I mean, I guess it was pretty plain for brothers. Brothers understood. They don't have any questions. Brothers just saying pretty much the same thing. Like, it was beautiful, helpful, exhortive, if that's a word. It was good exhortation. So that's mighty, man. I appreciate y'all, brothers. Appreciate the feedback. If nobody got anything to say, we'll wrap it up. If you got something to say, go ahead and bring it out. But if not, then that'll pretty much wrap up the call, man. Unless anybody got anything to say, any questions at all. The worst question or the dumbest question is the one you don't ask, right? There's no dumb questions. If you misunderstood something, let it be known. Or if you just want to say something, let it be known as well. No. Cool, man. Appreciate each and every one of y'all brothers for hopping on. I love y'all brothers. Stay enduring in the Prospect program. It is a mighty program. And all praise to the Most High. How about you, Yashar Barakathon?
How about you,
How about you? Yeah, how about you? Shalom.
Shalom, King. Shalom.
Shalom.
All right.